All right. Welcome to Good Friday. For those of you who are joining us online, we welcome you into a service of darkness. As we go through these passages, my prayer for us tonight is that we pause and we let the Lord hold us and remind us that though death is present, He's won. And so as we go into this weekend, we have something to celebrate on Sunday, but tonight we stop at the cross and we watch and we listen and we learn how love shapes us. As we go into this worship, hear these words from a psalm. Let's say this together. God is light, in whom there is no darkness at all. Jesus Christ is the light of the world. And this is the judgment, that the light has come into the world, and we love darkness rather than light. And we'll have our first reading.
First reading this evening is from John 18. After saying these things, Jesus crossed the Kidron Valley with his disciples and entered a grove of olive trees. Judas, the betrayer, knew this place because Jesus had often gone there with his disciples. Leading priests and Pharisees had given Judas a contingent of Roman soldiers and temple guards to accompany him. Now, with blazing torches, lanterns, and weapons, they arrived at the Olive Garden. Jesus fully realized all that was going to happen to him, so he stepped forward to meet them. "Who are you looking for?" he asked. "Jesus the Nazarene," they replied. "I am he," Jesus said. Judas, who betrayed him, was standing with them. And Jesus said, "I am he." And they all drew back and fell to the ground. Once more he asked them, "Who are you looking for?" And again they replied, "Jesus the Nazarene." "I told you that I am he," Jesus said. "And since I am the one you want, let these others go." He did this to fulfill his own statement. "I did not lose a single one of those you have given me." Then Simon Peter drew a sword and slashed off the right ear of Malchus, the high priest's slave. But Jesus said to Peter, "Put your sword back into its sheath. Shall I not drink from the cup of suffering the Father has given me?" Peter was convinced. He knew what was going on. He understood because religion, from when he was a kid, had taught him about the Messiah. And that the Messiah was going to come and he was going to right all the wrongs, and that there would be a removal of any opposing military forces in the land, that the religious elites would be removed as well, no more oppression of religion, and that they would be freed, and they would kind of be exalted, not being the bottom of the social ladder, but they would be exalted and have power and authority. So that night, Peter knew what was happening. It was the time for the revolution. There were the soldiers, there were the religious elites, and he pulled a sword and he cut a guy's ear off. But Jesus says, "Put away your sword." And in very plain terms, Jesus said to him, "Peter, you're asking me to not do my Father's will. Not only are you wrong, but you are in opposition to God right now. Your beliefs, what you're wanting, and what you're doing are not holy. In fact, they are from the devil." So my question is, are we holding on to religious beliefs that guide us to the way we speak to people, that the way we treat people, maybe even the fights we're in, the arguments we're in? Are we holding on to religious beliefs?
above all powers, above all kings, above all wonders and all created things, above all wisdom and all the ways of man. You were here before the world began. Above all kingdoms, above all thrones, above all wonders the world has ever known, above all wealth and treasures of the earth, there's no way to measure what you're worth. Above all powers, above all kings, above all nature and all created things, above all wisdom and all the ways of man. You were here before the world began. Above all kingdoms, above all thrones, above all wonders the world has ever known, above all wealth and treasures of the earth, there's no way to measure what you're worth. Crucified, lay behind a stone, you lived to die, rejected and alone, and like a rose trampled on the ground, you took the fall and thought of me above all.
We hear from John chapter 18. So the soldiers, their commanding officer, and the temple guards arrested Jesus and tied him up. First, they took him to Annas, since he was the father-in-law of Caiaphas, the high priest at the time. Caiaphas was the one who had told the other Jewish leaders, "It is better that one man should die for the people." Inside, the high priest began asking Jesus about his followers and what he had been teaching them. Jesus replied, "Everyone knows what I teach. I have preached regularly in the synagogues and the temple where the people gather. I have not spoken in secret. Why are you asking me this question? Ask those who heard me. They know what I said." Then one of the temple guards standing nearby slapped Jesus across the face. "Is that the way to answer the high priest?" he demanded. Jesus replied, "If I said anything wrong, you must prove it. But if I'm speaking the truth, why are you beating me?" Then Annas found Jesus and sent him to Caiaphas, the high priest. In John 18, Jesus is questioned and he's struck. Yet through this, he doesn't lose any control. Caiaphas has already declared, "It is better that one man die for the people." What he meant to be political was actually very eternal. Jesus stands there silent and steady and very resolute, but not as a victim. Instead, he's a willing sacrifice. He doesn't defend himself. He doesn't resist. He doesn't call down power, though he could. Because this is the moment that he came for. That moment right there. Every accusation, every blow, every injustice, he absorbs it, he takes it for you and for me. The one who spoke truth is struck for telling it. The one who is innocent is treated as guilty. And the one who is the high priest is judged by broken priests. And he receives it all. Why? So that you and I wouldn't have to. So that your guilt, your sin, your silence before God would not be the final word. So tonight we don't rush past this. We don't ignore that the priest struck him. We don't ignore his response. We pause. And we sit in it. Because this is what love looks like. Not loud, not defensive, not escaping, but standing, suffering, and saving for you.
You were a lover before time's beginning. You gave your love freely, withholding nothing. Jesus, my Jesus, you carried the weight of the world on your shoulders. You stopped at nothing to prove you were for us, Jesus, my Jesus. It's extravagant, it doesn't make sense, we'll never comprehend the way you love us. It's unthinkable, only heaven knows just how far you'd go to say you love us, to say you love us, to say you love us. You don't belittle our pain and our suffering. You comfort us in our greatest unraveling, Jesus, my Jesus. You are the dawn that is breaking within me. You are the sun that is rising around me, Jesus, my Jesus. It's extravagant, it doesn't make sense, we'll never comprehend the way you love us. It's unthinkable, only heaven knows just how far you'd go to say you love us, 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 to say you love us. Here is all my love, it's yours, no conditions when you pull me close. No, I won't resist it. Here is all my love, it's yours, no conditions when you pull me close. No, I won't resist it. I won't resist it. It's extravagant. It doesn't make sense. We'll never comprehend the way you love us. It's unthinkable. Only heaven knows just how far you'd go to say you love us, 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 to say you love us.
We continue in John 18. Simon Peter followed Jesus, as did another of the disciples. That other disciple was acquainted with the high priest, so he was allowed to enter the high priest's courtyard with Jesus. Peter had to stay outside the gate. Then the disciple who knew the high priest spoke to the woman watching at the gate, and she let Peter in. The woman asked Peter, "You're not one of the man's disciples, are you?" "No," he said, "I am not." Because it was cold, the household servants and the guards had made a charcoal fire. They stood around it warming themselves, and Peter stood with them warming himself. Meanwhile, as Simon Peter was standing by the fire warming himself, they asked him, "You're not one of the disciples, are you?" He denied it, saying, "No, I am not." But one of the household slaves of the high priest, a relative of the man whose ear Peter had cut off, asked, "Didn't I see you out there in the olive grove with Jesus?" Again, Peter denied it, and immediately a rooster crowed. Very simply, Peter was not willing to pay the price for the consequences of being associated and affiliated with Jesus. He was afraid he may end up just like Jesus. And in his self-preservation, he did not want to be associated and affiliated with the Messiah whom he had followed for 3 years. I wonder how many times in our lives we deny Jesus. When we're in a place or a situation where we have the opportunity to be affiliated and associated with Jesus, but we don't. Whether it's in our workplace, whether it's in a grocery store or driving our car or wherever it may be, in our families, with our friends, and we have this opportunity for Jesus to affect his love on the world around him, around us, but we choose not.
unrestrained. Your love is wild. Your love is wild for me. It isn't shy. It's unashamed. Your love is proud to be seen with me, to be seen with me. You don't give your heart in pieces. You don't hide yourself to Jesus. Uncontrolled, uncontained, your love is a fire burning bright for me. It's not just a spark, it's not just a flame. Your love is light, and all the world will see. All the world will see. You don't give your heart in pieces. You don't hide yourself to Jesus. You don't give your heart in pieces. You don't hide yourself to Jesus. Your love's not fractured. It's not a troubled mind. It isn't anxious. It's not the restless kind. Your love's not fractured. It's never disengaged. It's always present. It hangs on every word you say. Love keeps its promises. Love keeps its word. Honors what's sacred, 'cause its vows are good. Your love's not broken. It's not insecure. It isn't selfish. Your love is pure, 'cause you don't give your heart in pieces. You don't hide yourself to Jesus. You don't give your heart in pieces. You don't hide yourself to Jesus. You don't give your heart in pieces.
We continue in John chapter 18. Jesus' trial before Caiaphas ended in the early hours of the morning. Then he was taken to the headquarters of the Roman governor. His accusers didn't go inside because it would defile them, and they wouldn't be allowed to celebrate the Passover. So Pilate, the governor, went out to them and asked, "What is your charge against this man?" "We wouldn't have handed him over to you if he weren't a criminal," they retorted. "Then take him away and judge him by your own law," Pilate told them. "Only the Romans are permitted to execute someone," the Jewish leaders replied. This fulfilled Jesus' prediction about the way he would die. Then Pilate went back into his headquarters and called for Jesus to be brought to him. "Are you the king of the Jews?" he asked. Jesus replied, "Is this your own question, or did others tell you about me?" "Am I a Jew?" Pilate retorted. "Your own people and their leading priests brought you to me for trial. Why? What have you done?" Jesus answered, "My kingdom is not an earthly kingdom. If it were, my followers would fight to keep me from being handed over to the Jewish leaders. But my kingdom is not of this world." Pilate stands in front of Jesus and asks questions every human heart eventually asks. What is truth? Truth is not an idea standing before him. Truth is the actual person of Jesus. He just doesn't realize it. Jesus, the King whose kingdom is not of this world, simply stands silent and unprotected, unrecognized. The irony in this is very thick. They won't enter the governor's residence to avoid being defiled while handing over the only truly innocent man to be killed. Pilate knows Jesus is not guilty. He says it very plainly, and yet he still hands him over. Because truth, when it confronts us, demands something from us. And that's where we see ourselves. We want innocence released, and yet we choose Barabbas. We want truth, but only if it doesn't cost us anything. And Jesus, the true King, is rejected in our place. He takes the sentence we deserve so that the guilty get to go free. So that you, so that I get to go free. This is the exchange of Good Friday. The innocent for the guilty, the king for the rebel, for you.
Spoke a word, you were singing over me. You have been so, so good to me. Before I took a breath, you breathed your life in me. You have been so, so kind to me. And all the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God, oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99, and I couldn't earn it. I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the When I was your foe, still your love fought for me. You have been so, so good to me. When I felt no worth, you paid it all for me. You have been so, so kind to me. And all the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God, oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99, and I couldn't turn it. I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, a lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, a lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, a lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, a lie you won't tear down, coming after me. It's all the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves a 99, and I couldn't earn it, and I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God.
We read in John chapter 19. Then Pilate had Jesus flogged with a lead-tipped whip. The soldiers wove a crown of thorns and put it on his head, and they put a purple robe on him. "Hail, King of the Jews," they mocked as they slapped him across the face. Pilate went outside again and said to the people, "I'm going to bring him out to you now, but understand clearly that I find him not guilty." Then Jesus came out wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe, and Pilate said, "Look, Here is the man. When they saw him, the leading priests and temple guards began shouting, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" "Take him yourselves and crucify him," Pilate said. "I find him not guilty." The Jewish leaders replied, "By our law he ought to die because he called himself the Son of God." When Pilate heard this, he was more frightened than ever. He took Jesus back into the headquarters again and asked him, "Where are you from?" But Jesus gave no answer. "Why didn't you talk to me?" Pilate demanded. "Don't you realize that I have the power to release you or crucify you?" Then Jesus said, "You would have no power over me at all unless it were given to you from above. So the one who handed me over to you has the greater sin." Then Pilate tried to release him, but the Jewish leaders shouted, "If you release this man, you are no friend of Caesar. Anyone who declares himself a king is a rebel against Caesar." When they said this, Pilate brought Jesus out to them again. Then Pilate sat down on the judgment seat on the platform that is called the stone pavement, in Hebrew, Gabbatha. It was now about noon on the day of preparation for the Passover, and Pilate said to the people, "Look, here is your king." "Away with him," they yelled. "Away with him. Crucify him." "What? Crucify your king?" Pilate asked. "We have no king but Caesar," the leading priest shouted back. He was innocent. It was unfair. It wasn't right. There was nothing right about this situation. But the hard part of Good Friday is the part that being slapped in the face and spit on and flogged and all that Jesus endured, including on the cross, was because of you and I. Because of the lives that we have lived until now. It's not fair. And what's even more amazing is that Jesus said, "No one takes my life from me, but I offer it. I give it up." And maybe what's even more amazing is that Jesus has never said and will never say to you and I, "And you owe me one."
How deep the Father's love for us, how vast beyond all measure, that He should give His only Son to make a wretched treasure. How great the pain of searing loss, the Father turns His face away, as wounds which mar the chosen one bring many sons to glory. Behold the man upon the cross, my sin upon His shoulders. Ashamed, I hear my mocking voice called out among the scoffers. It was my sin that held Him there until it was accomplished. So I will not boast in anything. No gifts, no power, no wisdom. But I will boast in Jesus Christ, his death and resurrection. Why should I gain from his reward? I cannot give an answer, but this I know with all my heart. His wounds have paid my ransom. His wounds have paid my ransom.
John chapter 19. Carrying the cross by himself, he went to the place called the place of the skull, in Hebrew, Golgotha. There they nailed him to the cross. 2 others were crucified with him, one on either side, with Jesus between them. And Pilate posted a sign on the cross that read, Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews. The place where Jesus was crucified was near the city, and the sign was written in Hebrew, Latin, and Greek, so that many people could read it. Then the leading priests objected and said to Pilate, change it from the King of the Jews to, he said, I am the King of the Jews. Pilate replied, no, what I have written, I have written. When the soldiers had crucified Jesus, they divided his clothes among the 4 of them. They also took his robe, but it was seamless, woven in one piece from top to bottom. So they said, rather than tearing it apart, let's throw dice for it. This fulfilled the scripture that says, they divided my garments among themselves and threw dice for my clothing. So that is what they did. Standing near the cross were Jesus' mother and his mother's sister, Mary, the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus saw his mother standing there beside the disciple he loved, he said to her, dear woman, here is your son. And he said to the disciple, here is your mother. And from then on, this disciple took her into his home. Jesus carries his own cross. No one forces him. No one drags it for him. He walks toward it on purpose. The sign above him reads, King of the Jews. They mean it as mockery, but it is the truth. This is what the king, or what type of king he is. Not one that is conquered or conquers by force, but one who reigns by giving himself. While he hangs there, the soldiers gamble. You could say the world just carries on as the Son of God hangs on the cross. And at the foot of the cross, there's a small group that remains. And even there, even in his suffering, Jesus is still caring. Here's your mother. Here is your son. In the middle of his death, he is literally forming a new family. This is what the cross does. It reveals a king who does not save himself so that he can save you. He gathers the broken, the grieving, the undeserving, and he makes them his own. He calls them family. This is not defeat. This is love poured out for you.
stood an old rugged cross, the emblem of suffering and shame. And I love that old cross where the dearest stand best for a world of lost sinners was slain. So I'll cherish the old rugged cross till my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to the old rugged cross and exchange it someday for a crown. Oh, that old rugged cross, so despised by the world, has a wondrous attraction for me. For the dear Lamb of God left his glory above to pardon and sanctify me. So I'll cherish the old rugged cross till my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to the old rugged cross and exchange it someday for a crown. So I'll cherish the old rugged cross till my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to the old rugged cross and exchange it someday for a crown. Crucified, laid behind a stone, you lived to die, rejected and alone, and like a rose trampled on the ground. You took the fall and thought of me above all. Crucified, laid behind a stone, you lived to die, rejected and alone, and like a rose trampled on the ground. You took the fall and thought of me above all.
John 19. Jesus knew that his mission was now finished. And to fulfill Scripture, he said, I am thirsty. A jar of sour wine was sitting there, so they soaked a sponge in it, put it on a hyssop branch, and held it up to his lips. When Jesus had tasted it, he said, It is finished. Then he bowed his head and released his spirit. It was the day of preparation, and the Jewish leaders didn't want the bodies hanging there the next day, which was the Sabbath, and a very special Sabbath, because it was Passover week. So they asked Pilate to hasten their deaths by ordering that their legs be broken. Then their bodies could be taken down. So the soldiers came and broke the legs of the two men crucified with Jesus. But when they came to Jesus, they saw that he was already dead. So they didn't break his legs. One of the soldiers, however, pierced his side with a spear, and immediately blood and water flowed out. This report is from an eyewitness giving an accurate account. He speaks the truth so that you also may continue to believe. These things happened in fulfillment of scriptures that say, not one of his bones will be broken, and they will look on the one that they pierced. Jesus says, it is finished. Not I am finished, but it is finished. The work, the mission, the rescue is finished. Everything needed to deal with sin, death, and guilt has been completed. It is finished. Nothing left for you to add, nothing left for you to prove. It is finished. And then he gives up his spirit, not taken from him, given. Even here, he is in control. His bones are not broken, his side is pierced, blood and water flow. This is not just something random that happened. This is fulfillment. The Passover lamb, whole and unbroken for his people. And from his side comes life. Tonight we stand at the end of his work, not our effort. And we hear his words again, it is finished for you. Let's say this together. God is light in whom there is no darkness at all. Jesus Christ is the light of the world. And this is the judgment, that the light of the world is, the light has come into the world, and we love darkness rather than light. Afterward, Joseph of Arimathea, who had been a secret disciple of Jesus because he feared the Jewish leaders, asked Pilate for permission to take down Jesus' body. When Pilate gave permission, Joseph came and took the body away. With him came Nicodemus, the man who had come to Jesus at night. He brought about 75 pounds of perfumed ointment made from myrrh and aloes. Following Jewish burial custom, they wrapped Jesus' body with the spices and lawn sheets of linen cloth. The place of crucifixion was near a garden where there was a new tomb, never used before. And so, because it was the day of preparation for the Jewish Passover, and since the tomb was close at hand, they laid Jesus there. 2 men stepped forward: Joseph, who followed in secret, Nicodemus, who came at night. Until now, they have stayed hidden. But at the cross, something changes. The one who seemed defeated draws them out into the light. They take his body carefully, reverently, honoring the one who the world just rejected. 75 pounds of spices, a new tomb, a costly public act. This is what the cross does. It brings hidden faith into the open. It turns fear into courage. It moves people from the shadows into devotion. And yet, this moment feels like the end. A sealed tomb, a buried Savior, silence. But even here, God is still at work. Because what looks like finality is only preparation. The story is not over, not even close for you.